Do you like money?
Me too.
In this video, we're going to look at my theory for queen rearing that could bring your beekeeping to the next level and could possibly make you $10,000 for just 2 colonies. I do want to note, however, that this will be an aggressive method. This video is in no way, shape, or form legal or tax advice, and I'm going to assume that you've already taken the necessary precautions and steps following the USDA regulations as well as your local ag department for inspections to sell queens, as well as setting up a proper business so you can pay taxes. If you guys don't know me, I'm Mike. This is MJ Farmstead. My wife and I are first-generation farmers, and we're building our farm from the ground up. I'm a 4th-year beekeeper, and I'm very much a numbers guy, so let's get right into this video. This is probably going to be geared towards the 3rd and 4th-year beekeeper, just so you have an established supply as well as resources, and by that I mean drawn comb, but feel free to watch this video if you have not gotten to the 3rd or 4th year beekeeping yet. It's definitely going to be a good method to use and utilize so you can grow your apiaries. To make the $10,000, you will need 2 hives, and you'll need some gear to start off with. So I'm going to use this right here as my blackboard, whiteboard, and I'll put up stuff with some editing magic. Number 1 is a strong ass colony. Number 2, you're going to want a combination of 8 drawn combs that are empty, as well as 8 honey frames that are capped and stored away for a better day. Otherwise, we're going to be pulling too many resources off our mother hive. Number 3 is going to be 4 nuke boxes, as well as 4 JZBZ queen rearing frames. And of course, we're going to want pollen patties in case the incoming pollen is not that good. We're going to be able to substitute some good protein for the bees so they can make the best queens possible. And also, we want a way to feed our nucleus colonies some sugar syrup just to really entice them and make them think that a flow is on, so they'll start drawing wax. Let's get into the idea. First and foremost, this is an aggressive method, and if this method does happen to work, I'm coining it the MJ method, so nobody steal this. They say that you can get away with breeding up to several dozen of queens per year from one colony. This is going to push a little bit past that, and it's going to really push the limits of queen rearing. Also, we're going to assume that we have near perfect conditions as far as weather, pollen sources, as well as nectar sources. Don't forget our good genetics and knowing how to graft well. So the idea is like this. We're going to work on a 10-day cycle. April 1st, 10th, 20th, and 30th. We're going to be creating different nucleus builder colonies or cell builders from our mother. Each of these days in the cycle will be grafting 56 day-old larvas into our queen cups and having them draw out. This is going to require a good amount of nurse bees, between 7,000 and 10,000 bees that are going to go from the mother colony into our nucleus. So before shaking any bees or brushing any bees into your builder colonies, you're going to obviously want to find the queen each and every time you do this so we don't accidentally get her into the nuke. Essentially, 1 frame of brood is going to equate to about 7,000 bees in the colony. Depending on your area, most colonies are going to start building a tiny brood nest around mid-February, and they'll slowly expand once you get March and you have all the maples starting to come into bloom. Once that nectar flow starts coming, the queen will start to ramp up production, usually reaching her full production by April. I've had some early swarms in late March, so that just means that they're ready to go. The bees are going to know best, and we're going to basically follow their patterns in nature. Let's look at the numbers. So if a queen can lay 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day, and we're going on, this is perfect world conditions, she's going to lay 2,000 a day, that'll give us 14,000 bees every single week that are hatching out, emerging from their cells, or on the 10-day cycle, that'll be 20,000 bees. So once we find our queen, we're going to shake about 7,000 to 9,000 bees in, let's just say 8,000 for an example, into our nucleus builder colony. We're going to have a frame of brood that we're going to pull from the mother colony and place that all the way on one side, followed by honey, pollen, our queen rearing frame, by another honey frame. That should technically turn into 15,000 bees, leaving that additional 5,000 for our mother colony to continue to grow and sustain some of her numbers, giving the colony an overall boost of 20,000 bees for the month of April while we're pulling our grafts. Let's get into the plan. The percentage for the queens that take could be 80 to 90%. We're going to cut that back just slightly to 70%. So out of 56 of the cups on the JZBZ frames, we should have 40, I believe that's 40 of them, that should hatch. So if we do this April 1st, 10th, 20th, and 30th, that should give us 120 queens from one colony over that month. We'll have to sell them by April 12th to 15th, May 12th to 15th for the last set of them. Once they hatch, we're going to be able to have approximately 5 days to get them into a new colony to either mate them or sell them as a virgin. Otherwise, the optimal chance of them mating successfully starts to decline at a rapid rate. So if we look at the math on this, 120 queens, and you figure in my area I could sell them for $30 a pop for virgins, that gives us a gross of $3,600. What we're going to do though is we're going to keep one queen back for every single builder that we create and allow them to start laying in there, thus giving us more of an income because we're going to turn around and sell those nucleuses for $225 each. If we can increase our gross sales by another $1,000, we're minusing at 120 for the queens that we kept back for those nukes. That's going to bring our total gross up to $4,480. If you multiply that by 2, we are just south of the $10,000 total. Now, remember how I said this whole time that we're trying to work on perfect world conditions? If our mother colony happens to produce a honey crop, average is about 40 pounds per colony, if you guys don't know this yet. In my area, we value our honey at $1 per ounce direct-to-consumer sales. That'll bring us another $640 per colony. So if you're doing this by 2, this is pushing you right over that $10,000 limit, and we could possibly make 10 grand per colony. It's crazy. The numbers make sense. We'll still maintain numbers on our mother hive, and we'll be growing these other colonies at the same time, then making nukes out of them once they produce the queens that we want. Of course, the plan, right, is going to be essential to have marketing. So, Tractor Supply, print out a flyer, talk to your local beekeeping clubs, talk on Facebook, see what the Beekeeping Association has as far as queen distributors, and make sure when you do register your apiary with the USDA, you register, 1, that you want to have inspections, and 2, that you want to be on the list of approved queen and nucleus vendors. Then your name and number will be out there, and someone will happen to give you a call, hopefully, in the future. But it's all about the advertising. We only need to sell 120 of them. If we can get 12 beekeepers that requeen 10 colonies each, we have sold all the queens that we've made. And this is, technically, we're going to need 24 of them. But in my area, I've got tons of beekeepers. I know that for a fact. Also, your seasoned beekeepers will more than likely requeen every season. They want the young queens that are going to lay hard, lay strong, and have the best chance of making it through the winter. So selling queens, guys, is really going to be pretty easy. They should sell themselves in theory. If you've made it to here in the video, guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Really appreciate it. Helps us grow here on YouTube. And let's get into my thoughts and conclusion of this theory that I have, the MJ method, we're going to call it. So I think it's possible. If people are already breeding around 84 queens per colony, why can't we push it that extra, what would it be, 36? An extra 36 to get 120 queens out. I think that they're realistically downgrading the percentage for queens, or the number of queens that you can produce, or it's the guys that are rearing queens don't want you to know this, and they're saving all this information to themselves. Because I've done my research. I can't find anything more than, oh, this is how you graft, this is how you do it, this is how you incubate. This is my theory, and I think we could absolutely get this done. If we're feeding them pollen patties, and we're feeding them a sugar syrup to encourage them to draw more comb, we should have no problem getting 40 queens every 10 days from a colony. We're going to still get another 20,000 bees on that colony. If we had bees that were hatched all the way up to March 31st, those bees are going to live until the 2nd week of May. So what's going to be happening is we're not going to really be losing numbers. We're going to go up 5,000 per 10-day cycle that we pull and graft, but we're not going to be losing numbers in our mother hive. And then the first 2 weeks of May, they're going to have all those bees. That should be another 28,000 bees, and our colony is going to thrive, because May and June is basically our main nectar flow. We have like tulip poplar and dandelions and all that good stuff popping up here. So I really think that this is a doable method. Even without perfect world conditions, I think it's doable. Feed them, give them the pollen patties, and yeah, just get it done. If anyone's going to try this year, let me know in the comments. I'd really like to have a great conversation with anyone who's raised queens, looking to raise queens, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this method won't work, but let me know. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. So, wherever you're at, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.